Welcome back, folks. Today is May 6th, 2025. Let's jump straight into the review. As far as the overnight goes, there really wasn't anything in this section to really be taking trades out of. There was quite literally, just nothing. A lot of sweepables were left open, and so you really couldn't have gotten involved in a lot of the trades even if you wanted to. The first trade you could really get involved on was here, which was CISD here on the 5-minute as well as the 15-minute across, giving you a sweepable here on this high and a 15-minute sweepable here. And so we'll go up to that quick. So we're back on the 1-minute, same section. And yeah, you would have had bullet one fail, which was here. High, low, higher, high, lower, low, giving us a CISD. That's bullet one fail. And then you would have had bullet two, which is from this high to this low. And that did deliver for 4.5. After that was done, there's a 15-minute CB here, which is also valid for the model. Let's jump into the 15 in that section. So we have the CISD here, low, high, low, giving us our sweepable. We sweep, and then we create our CB here. So this is candle one in this area. So you can just blindly sell candle one like so. And then your target would be the standard deviations of whatever new breaker comes out, or the standard deviations of the 15-minute breaker, if that's what you're expecting. So you would target either 2 or 4 standard deviations. If you target 4, you wouldn't have gotten fill. The drawn liquidity for the day was this 4-hour sweepable, which is this low here that we had. So yeah, you could have literally just sold this 15-minute breaker. This 15-minute candle one, and you would have gotten 11 times today if you would have just went for the drawn liquidity for the day. All right, awesome. So let's jump back into the same CB on the 15-minute area. Once we tap back into the CB, which is here, we have a breaker that fails. That would be bullet one for this play, like so. And then you have bullet two, which is here. And then bullet two does deliver to 4 standard deviations, as you can see. We then have a 5-minute sweepable in this area. So after it does all of this, there's a CISD here on the 5-minute. This is the first sweepable. Sweeps, creates breaker here, fails, gets swept. So this is bullet two again for the sweepable, creates the breaker. Low, high, low, higher, high, lower, low, higher, high, and then lower, low. Even as our next projection, delivers to 4.5 standard deviations. And that gives us the bottom of this price leg before New York starts going. And so, yeah, bullet one fails, bullet two succeeds, bullet one fails, bullet two succeeds, bullet one fails, bullet two succeeds. But it's pretty much the theme. Now, when I came onto the chart, we were here, and there was a 15-minute breaker here to the upside, which I was thinking, no, sorry, not a 15-minute, a 5-minute breaker to the upside. So I was watching these lows as potential sweepables, but I did want to get short. I just couldn't really get involved with this breaker personally, because this breaker to me was the first bullet, first of all. So it is valid, but it was the first bullet, and I wanted to get filled on the CB. So let's jump into the 5-minute real quick. Same section, right? So CISD across from the left side. This is, sorry, no, I'm putting it in the wrong place. What was it, the 15-minute? Yeah, it was the 15-minute. So in the 15-minute, this is Friday, this is Tuesday, that's 3 days, that's valid. So low, high, low, giving us our sweepable right here. And so we swept it. And yeah, I wanted to get filled on that, but unfortunately, there was no retap back on the CB before this delivered. So yeah, breaker did end up delivering 4.5. And then after he did that and he reached here, I wanted to then sell here, but unfortunately, this is also invalid. So breaking this down, this is a 15-minute sweepable right here, and then this is 5-minute sweepable right here. So once this sweep happens, it is valid to go ahead and take a short. The problem was that this breaker, which is the initial one, let me delete this so you can be more clear. So we got low, high, low, higher, high, lower, low. This is an actual breaker, but not only did it look really ugly in terms of price action, but it's also outside of my window. So this is 9:43. The close was in 9:46. This is outside of macro, which is literally the video I just uploaded on Monday, yesterday, explaining the macro windows. So this wouldn't be valid. Now this would be valid here if I took this, but I personally didn't want to take that because they share the same high. So this is a low probability breaker because it's out of macro. And then this is a valid breaker. And because they share the same high, I don't trust this high because of this. Therefore, I can't really trust this breaker either. So yeah, so we skipped on that. Then I talked about on the stream how I pretty much expected this to be the bottom of the day. As soon as we created the 15-minute breaker, like you would just confirm it for sure as the bottom of the day. And sure enough, we confirmed it and it was. So unfortunately, there was no way for me to get longed on this per model. I'm going to be looking into some potential ways to try to capitalize on moves like this where I know the draw. But unless I actually can do it on paper with super high probability, I just won't do it at all. After that, we have a 5-minute sweepable here. So there's this high is a CISD on the 5-minute and the 15. It's both. It creates the first sweepable here on this low 1052. Let's go ahead and zoom out on 1052 on the 5 minutes. So CISD here on this high. High, low, high. That's the very first high, low, high. This high has no low to attach to. If we grab a fib tool, see, there's no low to attach to. So you would drag this up. And then this has to attach to a low, which it does here. And then it goes higher. So when it goes down below, that would be our sweep. And so when it did that, I went ahead and took this trade. Took it on stream after, oh, sorry, not that trade. This trade, I took it on stream and then price came against me. I retook this right here on the 15-second as a bullet two play. And then I got taken out literally just a tiny bit before lunch. I did re-enter this off stream. As soon as this happened, I realized this is probably going to be the pump. So I lost one bullet here, which is valid, and then this bullet here wasn't an actual bullet because it never confirmed on the 1 minute. It was just an anticipation of the breaker confirming. Is that something I always do? It just depends on the play. But yeah, so this is a valid breaker here, from here to here. If you waited for the 1 minute confirmation, which I did not, you wouldn't have gotten filled. So it did deliver, but you wouldn't have gotten filled. It literally went exactly to 4 standard deviations, as you can see, from bottom to top. And as soon as we hit there, we literally started dumping again and turned around. As far as this price action goes here on this side, this was bullet 2 already. So no other longs would have been valid for this play unless you wanted to, because this deliver, unless you wanted to take it as a bullet 2 play, basically, again, which I just wouldn't recommend it because of the way the breaker was. Like, that breaker gave no entry. So typically speaking, when the breaker gives no entry, it's a manipulation. So yeah. Now, as far as the downside goes, we made a CISD here to the downside. Sweepable was here, but then it never got swapped till we got up here. And there was no reason to really switch to shorts anymore. Like, there just wasn't anything. Just because the longs were loose in here doesn't mean anything, because this actually did deliver where it needed to. So I would have still been long bias, and I was. I took a trade in the afternoon. So we have 5-minute CISD here across, like so. High, low, high, given as our sweepable. We then went ahead and swept it. And then we created this breaker. I took this trade. I was trying to write it to 2 standard deviations. That's why I have this line already here. But I just wasn't sure, to be honest with you. I was very uncomfortable with the trade. And it was just too slow. Like, it just didn't print as fast as I thought it would if it was going to go and deliver this and deliver the 4 standard deviations overall. So I trailed the stop, which is not something I typically do. I posted this on the private student chat, but I posted that once this took off here, I trailed it to, I think it was like right here or something. So just a little bit above the stop. And it's honestly because I didn't want to lose on this trade, because if I lost on that trade, I wouldn't have gone red for the day, but I would have gave back like a chunk of the profits I had made for the day. Because again, I did catch this buy And unfortunately, I couldn't get at 4 standard deviations because I hadn't set up my TP yet. I didn't realize my TP wasn't at 4 standard deviations; it was higher. So when I go and look, it's higher, and we had already hit here, and we retraced. So, anyways, I didn't want to give back the profits, and because of that, I went ahead and trailed it. Obviously, it worked out in my favor that I trailed it this time because it ended up actually not delivering my targets. But doing that for long enough can really burn your account. Like that's not something I do, and I'm not necessarily happy or excited that I got saved this one time because there's way more times that I don't get saved and the trade works out, and then I end up being left in the dust. So yeah. But anyways, yeah, that's the review for today. After that, I mean, this dump honestly has nothing to do with model. You have the sweepable here. So, well, okay, let's break it down and why it doesn't have anything to do with model. So you have the sweepable here for the 5 minute after sweepable there after the CISZ here, right? So you can start essentially looking for your long. You also, the same high is also the sweepable on the 15 minute. So you can start looking for your short once we sweep it. So we sweep, and our first short comes out of here. So high, low, higher high by a tiny bit, and then lower low. That's bullet one here. Fails, gets swept again. High, yeah, high, low, higher high, lower low, new breaker, because he does close below. That's bullet two already. Then it gets swept, then it gets swept again, and that's bullet three right here. High, low, higher high, lower low. And then finally, that's bullet four. And, it does go quite a bit towards it, but you would have had to literally take 3 Ls to catch the one winner on bullet four. And that's why I say 2 bullets and you're done. Because it could just do this. It could fail here again, and then fail another time, and then fail another time until he finally takes his high. And you're not going to just keep selling if it just keeps failing. It's just going to eat up your account. So 2 bullets and done is the way that I always operate under. Now here, it's a little bit different on the, no, sorry, not there. Here on this buy, it's a little bit different. Why? I took this buy here as a regular bullet because he did confirm. I took this buy as an anticipation that this high would confirm for the breaker. But it didn't confirm for the breaker, which is different. That's a loss trade, yes, but it has nothing to do with the actual bullet system for the model. This trade lost because I anticipated, not because the actual idea confirmed and then I jumped on it. Very different. Now, this one, on the other hand, it confirmed. So if this would have confirmed and failed, then that would have been a bullet two burned right away. And at that point, you would have just stopped buying and you would have just moved on. So yeah, 2 bullets and you're done is definitely the way to protect yourself. But yeah, that's it for the review today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. We got FOMC, so should be interesting to see what happens. But yeah,